Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful day, and it is a absolute beautiful morning. So I had to come out here on the back deck and record today because it's absolutely beautiful. You need to get outside and get some of this beautiful fresh air as well. So I encourage you to do that today. I have a fun story for you today. I want to see if you can figure it out before I get to the end. It's kind of a hard one, but maybe not for some people, but we'll see how it goes. It's called The Switch. Odessa Lee Grady was a sweet old-fashioned girl. She loved to stay home, loved to cook, attended Baptist church every Sunday, never drank, never smoked, never meddled in anybody else's business. Her creative urges were satisfied by making her own clothing and draperies for her own home. So it just stood to reason that this old-fashioned girl would meet and marry a nice old-fashioned fellow. She did. He was a confident, smiling young man, the most successful sign painter in town. I can relate to that. Never idle a day in his life, never employed by anyone but himself. He could afford to buy his own home at the age of 23. Now the couple's baby was long overdue, and Lee's labor was almost record long. The doctors were baffled, and then they discovered the baby's head was just simply too large. They tried everything, pulling and pushing and coaxing and the reluctant infant into the world. But Lee remained in labor. And finally, the baby's head was showing, just enough that the doctors could help him out the rest of the way with forceps. And at 6:45 p.m. on the 17th day of January at Louisville's General Hospital, this little boy was born, and forceps scars on his cheek would always be there. A barely perceptible badge of triumph. And the proud parents would now hope that everything would return to wonderful, blissful, dependable normal. But not yet. You see, only a short while after his birth, and still in the hospital, the little boy disappeared. More precisely, he was replaced. Mommy was the only one who knew, although not even she realized it at first. She had asked to see her baby, and the nurse had brought her in a newborn infant, and Lee had maybe 10 or 15 minutes before it had dawned on her that the child that she was cradling in her arms was not her child. She blinked, she stared. Could she trust her own feelings? Oh, you bet she did. So Lee rang for the nurse. "Where's my baby?" she demanded. "Why, this is your baby," the nurse answered calmly. To which Lee insisted that this baby was most certainly not her own. And she was right. And after a search, the embarrassed hospital staff returned Lee's son, and of course the other infant, to his rightful mother. And what the maternity ward nurses wanted to know was, how had Lee been so certain that Lee had the wrong baby? She said the other baby was just too quiet. Sure enough, even as she spoke, her own little boy was squalling and hollering and making such a racket that all the other babies in the ward started crying in response. It was a sign of things to come. You see, because Lee's baby was destined to make a big noise in the world. Even as an infant, he tried with all his might to talk. And once he learned how to talk, he talked quite a bit. You see, the son of Odessa Lee Grady Clay, The source of that big noise that echoed throughout Louisville, Kentucky's General Hospital, January 1942, he, little Cassius Clay, would one day become Muhammad Ali. And now you know the rest of the story. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Enjoy this beautiful weather, and until tomorrow, be safe.